Get ready, boys.
I'm not saying I'm going to swear on the show, but apparently I was very close to using profanity before the cold open started. Or during. Yeah, no, it wasn't that. It was a little longer, but I said it. Just didn't see it. All right. Well, the native's getting a little restless in here, so let's talk about it here on the DLS Stars post-game show. It's okay to be a little annoyed.
Suck it, Ben.
Bang.
It is indeed the end of the road trip. Let's not start singing Boys to Men, Sam.
I'm a big Boys to Men guy.
I'm not saying that they're not good. I'm saying let's not start singing it. Before we get into tonight's broadcast of the DLS Stars postgame show, let's check out the brand new DLS opening day baseball gear, which, of course, we have an home opening day coming up. But still, as you see, supporting our DLS Rangers podcast, the opening day gear has 2 different color hoodies, a new t-shirt, and 2 new additions to the DLS hat collection. Check those all out at alldlls.com. All right, everybody, as we begin our live show, we have Craig Ludwig, we have Sam Nessler,
Hello.
Ryan Vaughters, I'm Owen Newkirk, and yes, we already asked again, do we get the day off tomorrow? We do not. Boy, we would like to. But this is Ludz's last in-studio show of the week because Thursday he'll be remote for Alumni Weekend. Friday he won't be involved. And then Saturday he's playing in the Alumni game.
In-studio show. Not
for you.
Saying tomorrow.
Because of your alumni schedule. You will not be in studio after tomorrow's show. Thursday you'll be up remote from the alumni get-together, the bar PGA, or whatever.
House.
Then you're off on Friday.
Well, I'm not off.
Well, no, but you don't have to show.
Friday.
YouTube spells your name with an E.
Well, we should be doing a live thing from that clown act that's going to happen.
Why don't you talk to GM Ben?
I think we have a drop.
I've been bringing it up for 2.5 months.
Are you saying that he's not followed through on that?
I don't know. I don't want to say anything.
Oh, yes, you do.
We've taken some shots at Ben today.
Yeah, we have.
We still love you, but
it's been fun, Ben, for sure.
They're real.
So
suck it, Ben.
I could use suck it. I could use a day off tomorrow after that. Here's the thing. Many times when the Stars play a game that's a little underwhelming, we go, that wasn't great, but whatever. We'll talk some people off the ledge. Starting to run out of room to talk people off the ledge. How about you?
Well, I don't know about talking them off the ledge, but it may be hard to argue with some of their comments and thoughts right now. Again,
that's what I'm saying.
You don't really want to have
if you argue
a car crash going into the playoffs.
Yeah.
And not that this is a car crash, but you know, again, there's little tiny things that you look at and go, okay, well, tonight they only had, did they have 16, 17 shots? I don't think they got to 20. Let's just put it that way.
They did not. They got to, according to
16.
the stat sheet, 16.
Yeah, so 16
Yikes.
shots.
Yikes.
I know they weren't good in the faceoff circle because we talked about that in the second period.
It didn't get better, Luds. It didn't get better. 64 to 36%.
Yeah, okay. So there's another area that is not there. Looking what happens in front of the net, their own net, or maybe more importantly, put that, what doesn't happen in front of their own net. And I know you're going to bring up a goal of Jake's, or that went in on Jake, but there's other things. There's a couple other goals here where he doesn't see. I mean, again, to me, it's way too easy for an opponent to get to the top of the crease to stand in front of Ottinger right now. It's just too easy. And then we were looking at, Sam and I were looking something. I don't know if it was a goal. It was that scrambling. I think it was the Yoko Hari. Whatever the hell his name is. It was that goal. And I mean, and Miro comes back to the front of the net, and he literally stops 2 feet from who's ever standing in front of the net. You know, just them little kind of things. And I talk about being hard to play against, so it's spread around. Let's put it that way.
Matt Duchene, I just saw on Twitter, Matt Duchene said that we're playing some desperate teams right now, and they're playing at a level we're just simply not playing
Okay,
at.
I'm really glad you bring that up, because that's
my
sort of
answer too.
what I want to start with is I read a quote this morning, and I actually watched it, and it wasn't as compelling. You know how sometimes a player says it, you see it written and go, wow, that's a great quote, and then you see the clip of it and go, it doesn't convey the same, or vice versa. Sometimes you read it and go, and then it sort of looks different when you see it. Well, anyway, Mark Kastelic, who plays for the Bruins, had a quote about, we've been playing playoff style hockey for a month now. He said, we're really dialed in. It's been really fun. He goes, this is some of the best hockey I've ever enjoyed. It's a great quote. Then I was going to clip it and it just wasn't compelling. But the reason why I was so interested in trying to get that for our pregame show was the Dallas Stars are not playing intense playoff hockey right now.
Okay, why?
Well, because they can't really do anything. Here's why.
Because they're already in a playoff
They
spot.
played 2 games recently at Colorado, which was almost 2 weeks ago now, and at Minnesota. And they were high intensity, high emotion playoff games. They were fun. They won one. They lost one in overtime. They beat Jake stood on his head in both games, was really good. And then they had a bit of a letdown coming back home against a Vegas team that's changed their coach already, which we'll talk about tomorrow. I don't think we've seen that playoff intensity since that Vegas game, Leds.
Which will come out the old cliche is it's not like a light switch. You just
you've talked about this for 2 years now.
Yeah, you just don't flip it on and off. And again, last year they came limping into the playoffs, and then they win.
That's a
2
strong
rounds,
word,
right? Not wrong word.
Limping is a strong word.
Strong.
Right now they are limping.
They were sliding.
Yeah. Well, and again, it's always interesting to me to hear the coaches talk, and I'll be interested to see how Gully wants to sum this one up, because again, to me, it's the lack of urgency not about winning. It's the lack of urgency to get your game back to a level that it's supposed to be at, that the competitive game that they have. And I think sometimes, you just kind of go back to, we're going to be able to come back again. We're going to be able to come back. And, they tied it up, and we're going to get a power play goal. And then all of a sudden it doesn't happen. And for a team that says that they're playing playoff hockey, it's understandable, because they can have that attitude. They need to have that attitude, because they're only 4 points, maybe 6 now. They're only 4 points out of not playing in the playoffs. So they're still on the edge of could possibly go on a,
Boston was very much.
They could lose 3 out of 4 games,
die.
and somebody does this. Next thing you know, they're on the outside looking in. So it's easier for those teams to be dialed in every single night. And I'm not trying to give Dallas an excuse, but sometimes it is a little bit more difficult to get revved up when you're kind of in the spot that you're in. We want to get the playoffs started. So does that mean that coaches will start to? And again, you can't do that because you play every other day. Do you have some more competitive practices? Is it maybe 5 to 7 minutes of game-like play?
And the schedule hasn't allowed for it, because this is what we've been talking about for a week. Listen, we're not making excuses. We're just trying to explain it a little bit, right? So what's the 9 games in 15 days? That was that grind that we've been talking about. I grabbed the wrong piece of paper. I'll grab the right one. This is the 7th of 9. They still have 2 more, Thursday and then Saturday. And Saturday's an afternoon game, so it's not even, it's like 2.5 days they play. Then they'll have 2 non-game days in a row for the first time in this 9 and 15. So that was number 7 today. And I'm not saying that that's an excuse, but Luds, they are playing more than every other day.
Yeah.
And then they suffer all these injuries. Maybe a root cause of playing a lot of hockey over the course of the season. And now they're starting to dwindle the depth a little bit.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's no question. But again, some of that is from the neck up, because you're still kind of using the excuse like, we've played, and here's where we're at. So again, excuses.
Yep. No, but Sam, they are coasting a little bit.
No,
not because they're not trying, but I do think there's something to be said of it's hard to match a authentically desperate team's intensity level when you're okay. I can survive
your spot,
this.
And you're missing half your team. So any
Ryan,
of
do you
that
have
little
that graphic from the pregame show, the injury one? Is that something you can pull up and make? Go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, it's just any little bit you can get out of. Let's say
I think he means the injury list.
Yeah, let's say you just have the injuries, right? You have the injuries, and you're like, we really got to find a way. You can find a way. They found a way a lot of times during that stretch. Add to that now, on top of all of these injuries.
Look at this.
Add to that they are in a spot. If they're secure in their spot, and unless they implode or Colorado really, really implodes, no one's moving in the.
Well,
in
I
the
think
conference.
after this, and Colorado won 9-2 last night.
So it's done.
Calgary,
Colorado's going to
even
win the
think-
President's Trophy.
Yeah.
Dallas should host Minnesota in the first round, as we thought it was 4 months ago when it was 99% in.
If
See,
you're
the other
listen-
thing about that injury list that you have there, Tyler Sagan's been out. Let's just say the
Since
whole year.
early
So
December.
Take that out. They've been winning without Tyler.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then the only other one to me that if you want to actually lean on has been your
Rope
center.
Hintz, number one center.
That's it. Otherwise, and again, I'm not saying the other guys aren't important, but Hintz is a big
It's still
piece.
bodies though, right?
Yeah, they're
You're still missing
bodies.
bodies.
But you could take out 6 of the bodies that are in the lineup today and put one of them bodies in there, and I don't know if it's going to make that big a
Yeah,
difference because that's who they are.
Yeah.
That's what their roles
But
are.
I do argue a little of, as much as we give crap on Sam Steele for not finishing all the time, he's a very good player, and I think that he's better than some of the guys that were playing, just, again, experience and what have you. Roddick Foxa, you talk about face-offs.
He's
Hintz,
big in the
Foxa,
playoffs.
Sagan,
too.
all being out of the lineup against Sagan for a long time.
Yeah.
Those are big losses as far
But they
as...
were winning without Sagan, so I take Sagan out. They've
Right,
been on
well, I'm
a
talking
roll
about
without
face-off
Sagan.
strength and stuff, right?
Yeah, but they were still on a roll.
That's true. They were. And now kind of
Yeah,
coming down a little
I
bit.
just think you had the injuries and you have the fact that you're locked in and you know what's coming in 7 games now. Those are now
7 games
Those
ago.
are now blending together into.
So
We need to get to game 83, and Luds feels the same way. I can feel him shaking, agitated over here. Let's get to this damn playoffs already.
Well, I don't want to. I don't like talking about it. I mean, that's what our job is to do. But I want to sweep it under the rug too and say,
Yes.
let's get game 83
Yeah,
underway.
yeah.
But I'm just actually I'm looking forward. Well, I'm not looking forward to. But if something doesn't go well, I said to these guys, if something doesn't go well in game on Thursday,
You're talking about Winnipeg?
We are doing this event, our alumni thing, and on Saturday, I get to interview or whatever you want to call it, Brett Hull, Joe Neuendijk. Okay, but
he's hosting a panel on Saturday.
I'll get to Tom Gillard, Bob Gainey, Tom Gillardy, and Jim Nill. And so if something doesn't go well in that Thursday game, I'm starting with Jim Nill, and I'll be
How you
everybody. And there's a lot of people. I'm gonna go, Jim. Are we concerned? Is everything cool?
He can
here?
handle that question.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, maybe I should start with Mr. Gillardy.
You should ask Hull.
You should definitely.
Tom,
You
are
should
you
ask Holly.
concerned?
Holly, tell us
You
about
should-
this team.
Oh, Holly will be drunk and doesn't even care.
I honestly think that's a
No, he's
Gillardy
not going to
question,
be
lads.
drunk, but he's going to be feeling good. Him and Nui.
It's gonna be feeling.
So let me ask you guys this, because
thing he's gonna
when
say
we
to me,
originally
"Lads, where's
looked
the
at this
vodka?"
schedule, we circled Saturday, April 4th against Colorado on big ABC, big national game before the alumni game. And then April 9th at home against the Minnesota Wild. Final game of the regular season at Buffalo. Big games against big teams. So Dallas has a 5-game homestand and then 2 more road games to end their regular season. As Lud said, Thursday, home against Winnipeg. Saturday afternoon against the Colorado Avalanche. Next Tuesday, the 7th against Calgary. Thursday, the 9th against Minnesota. That's a late game at 8 p.m. Central Time. An afternoon game at home against the New York Rangers, way out of it. And then you have at Toronto, who just fired their GM, and at Buffalo. Where the Stars are right now, are any of those games going to be A, meaningful, and B, deliver that intensity level without something coming from the leadership group and the coaching staff to try to manufacture that? At this point, where they're at right now, are any of those 7 games going to be like, man, we got to get up for this game?
Well, when sometimes you can take some of the pressure off or the heat off by maybe resting a guy or two. You know what I mean? Like there's almost a built-in. Well, we're not playing this guy. You could take Miro out of a game. I don't even know who they would think about taking out. Maybe
Give
a
Essa a night out or something.
Maybe it's Robo, maybe it's Wyatt. We give these guys. We're going to be leaning on these guys for 2.5 months. And so here's a time to give them a rest because we're not moving up, we're not moving down. And then sometimes you take a little pressure off of that particular game you're talking about. But then somebody would say, well, why would you take those guys out against Colorado or Minnesota, especially because those could be your first 2 opponents and you'd want to be able to set a tone against those games, which I would think that's definitely going to be Minnesota's. I can see Minnesota. Is that game here? Or,
It's here.
Yeah, I can see them loading up and
wanting to send a message,
setting a tone for how the game is.
Do you think Colorado at that point, that game won't be as intense because or do you think that
because you know what? Dallas beat them last year. So they want to be able to come in here
and they just beat them in Denver twice.
Yeah, so I think that they would want to bring in, and their mentality is going to be this is
go.
We're going to see.
So maybe that game this Saturday will be better than we think because personal, ego's not the right word. Trying to avoid, you don't want to be humiliated.
So
right,
pride.
Pride's the word I was looking for.
Winnipeg, Colorado, and who's the third game? It's not
Calgary.
It's Calgary. Okay,
Calgary's the middle game of the 5-game home.
That should be a feel good.
But Winnipeg, Calgary, and when's Minnesota?
Next Thursday.
So three of those 4 of those 3 teams. Do I got that right?
Yes.
So that right there kind of sets a tone about playoff time. You know, Winnipeg because there's this history there, and then Colorado and Minnesota. So you know, and again, that can be enough to get you going.
Do you think the Avalanche have a different mindset with the Cale Makar injury?
Yeah, does that change anything with Makar? We don't know how long that injury is going to be, do we?
Supposed to be not long term, is all.
But see,
by the way, I'd like to point out Winnipeg's only 3 points out of a playoff spot with a game in hand. Yeah. They're still in it.
Yeah, they're still
amazingly,
in it. And the math doesn't work for them. But yes,
they're
still in this. But does it make a difference without Cale Makar?
Like their mindset going into the game, will they change? Try to stay healthy. You know?
I think that with a guy like Makar, no different if it was Miro or Rantanen, you take every precaution and you sit him out and you know, to make sure that a guy like that is ready to go. But I mean, the thing is like if they come in, play a good game, and they find a way to win that hockey game without a Cale Makar, then there's even a little bit more saying, you know, when we get to the playoffs, Makar is going to be back there too. So I don't, you know what, again, until you're actually in that room every single day and you're one of them guys, it's hard to tell what that even
I want to make it really clear. We're not saying that this team isn't going to show up and be professional and try. I'm just saying that there's an innate human reaction that being able to be desperate and urgent and get that little, it's very hard to manufacture, meaning artificially. If it's there because you can sense the sort of survivalist nature of we have to make the playoffs, we're being chased or we're chasing, this means more. It sort of comes out of you sometimes. And with these games, it might just not be there.
The most important part about all of this whole conversation, and from the coach's standpoint, when you're concerned and things like that, and I know what would have happened with us, is there would have been, you know, somebody's going to walk by me and said, Luds, leadership group, it's time. You know what I mean? So I do. Yep. Jamie Benn, Tyler Seguin, Matt Duchene, you know, and whoever else, whether you want to, and I don't know how big a voice Miro actually has. Those guys don't seem to say a lot. So I don't know who else has those voices in that room, but those 2 in particular would be important.
By the way, Sam just tweeted this out. Luds, we got a goalie fight tonight.
I was watching.
Sturkin
I was just watching
versus Markstrom. Rangers Devils. A game in which obviously
2 guys that are going on vacation.
You want to talk about pride.
2 NHL goalie fights in one season.
There should be more. There should be more. All right. Yeah, we do.
I love it.
We got to move on.
Swing that
Listen, good conversation. I will probably talk about this theme a bit more tomorrow on the Daily Pod Show.
Look on the bright side.
But let's break it down next. DLS Stars postgame show. It's time to slide your glass slippers over your lucky socks and hope for a fairy tale ending. It starts when you put in $10 on FanDuel Predicts, and we match it with a $10 bonus. Buckle up for the buzzer beaters that break brackets, shots that silence arenas, and runs that rewrite history. Take a position on the spread, total points, or the winning team. Follow the action in real time. March matchups are on FanDuel Predicts. Offered by FanDuel Prediction Markets, LLC, a registered futures commission merchant. 18 and over, 1 per user, minimum $10 deposit required. Trading derivatives involves significant risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Manage your activity with our consumer protection tools. That's FanDuel Predicts. The World Cup is almost here. And when I mean here, I mean in Dallas. AirDNA is the leader in data on short-term rentals, think Airbnbs, and they just released a free calculator to see how much you can make renting out your home during the World Cup. Occupancy is up 200+% already for the group stage matches, and we are still a couple months away. I know it's getting closer. Dallas has the most matches of any city with 9, including one of the semifinals. Remodel that bathroom, build a new patio, go on a dream vacation, pay off some of your mortgage, save for college, for your kids' college. All of this in this once-in-a-lifetime tourism opportunity. So listen to the sound of my voice. Think about that brand new patio, those season tickets, that epic vacation. Heck, go to the World Cup and stay with a friend while you rent out your house. I don't care what you do with the money, but you've got to see how much you can make at airdna.co/stars. That's airdna.co/stars. All right, everybody. After that very cheery, optimistic opening segment, it's time now for our game breakdown. Let's see where this takes us, because there were plenty of goals as the Stars lose. Final score was 6-3 to the Boston Bruins. Remember, Dallas had a 6-0 lead in their first meeting back in January against the Bruins in Dallas. They scored 6, gave a couple late, just absolutely dominated the Bruins. That did not happen tonight. So it's time for your favorite segment, What the Puck with Luds. Luds, this was not one just to hang on the wall for Jake Ottinger, his 300th career NHL game, but it's not just on Jake. But we start with a pretty tame first period from the Dallas Stars. They did not have a whole lot of offense. Their one good chance, Jamie Benn, one-timer, low left slot, good save by Jonas Korpisalo, and it came right after the first goal by Marat Huznutdinov.
Yeah, that guy. So, these are the kind of goals that, but I wanted to show just the time that Harley was on the ice here. I can't even know what it says anymore, about 1 minute, 50 seconds or something like that.
It's about 50, yeah.
And there's a reason to that, is because where this shot is taken, and there's not another Boston player that's got any speed here from the center line in. Right. And now all of a sudden here they are, and I look at the gap, and I think your gap can be better. Sometimes that has to do with the amount of time that you're playing. Could you have gotten off and get somebody fresh out there? But then after that, like, this is just one of those kind of goals. This ended up hitting Essa in the leg. And ultimately, I mean, Essa's in the right spot. Yeah, we could do a little bit more in front of the net, but again, this is one of those bad luck things. But I look in front of Jake, and there's somebody standing there unimpeded, and I think Miro could have probably done a little bit better job of moving somebody. But ultimately, this is just one that hits Essa in the leg. He doesn't have enough length on him to reach and try to get a stick on the rebound, and then it's just put past Ottinger, who doesn't see the puck. There's somebody standing in front of him again.
And so 1-0. Then Jamie has the chance. David Pastrnak has a wild one-timer. Otter gets a pretty good save. Then they set him up again. He steps in maybe a couple feet, Sam, and he pounds one. Jake got a good right pad save splitting.
Was that the one he was falling over, somersaulting backwards?
I think the falling over one was the first one, but
he just
the second one,
he gets so much on it no matter what.
Jake had a really good stretching right pad save.
Yeah, it's a good save. Pastrnak has a hammer over one-timer. I think we said it a few times tonight. He could have had a couple of goals, and he chose to pass up a few chances that he had, and I don't know if he's the best passer, but he certainly wasn't tonight.
Yeah, no, it was a little all over the place. And then Luds, okay, the second one, Viktor Arvidsson scores standing in the crease. Let's break this down, and I want your honest opinion about number 55 on this play as it pertains to a 2-0 lead.
You had said this earlier, and you're right, but there's going to be another one here that I got a little bit of an issue with too. I want you to look at Bischel. He's the one that's staring at the puck, and Arvidsson, who's going to score the goal, is behind him. Never turns around, because if Bischel turns around and seals Arvidsson out right now, and because that's all your job is, don't let somebody get to the front of the net, then he's not at the front of the net. But he gets here, and now he establishes position. And again, Harley's going to get beat back to the front of the net, and ultimately all that happens. But Leon can stop this right here. Again, look at your goaltender. He's trying to look around, try to find out where the puck's coming from. And a guy that's 6'8" can stop a guy that's 4'8", and there's no way. But Here's what I like about what Arvidsson does. He gets down onto one knee. He gets the stick out here, and you can see all he's doing is he don't care where it hits him. Hit me in the chin. That's what goal scorers do. But he plants himself, so he's going to be hard to defend.
Sam, you think he's in the crease?
But then now
looks like
here
he's in crease, yes.
is the 50-50 battle.
Same
right?
as Brett Hull.
But number 55, who's a little bit bigger than Mr. Arvidsson, loses that battle, and then he gains the ice.
Look how much Arvidsson's choking up on that stick to get down there and get that too.
Who?
Arvidsson. He's got.
Were you not just paying attention?
No, sorry.
I
was just saying that for Harley. That's the opposite, right? It's the he's got the stick at the end.
We can talk about Thomas getting beat back to the net here, but again, Arvidsson, that's Bischel's guy.
Yeah,
and Harley gets back to the net, and you don't even see Bischel in the picture here. He could have stopped Arvidsson from even getting there.
Blood spelled battle, Battel.
Yeah, I did.
I do like the 3 dots.
Question for you, though,
that was
Lutz.
nice.
How hard is it?
You left that up just long enough for Sam to catch it.
He was actually circling it.
Is that what that was? I thought that was a fly flying
Came
out on
back
the
to
TV
it.
screen.
Can they see that when you're circling it too, or just me?
Not if they're just
me.
listening, Sam. They can't.
Oh,
see
that's
that.
fair. But
now just the people that are listening. I spelled it Battel.
I'm curious, Lutz. How hard is it to transition from killing a penalty to getting back into 5-on-5 when the puck's in your zone? Right, because wasn't that the end of a power play? So when that power play ends,
yes, it was. It was
how hard of
seconds
a
after the
transition
power
is
play.
that for you when your guys coming back in?
Defensemen are supposed to be in front of the net.
No, I'm just curious in general. Like when your guy, let's say whoever that was in the box, they come screaming back in. The rush is kind of going on. How hard is it to kind of point out where you're supposed to go?
That's the whole point, especially for defensemen, that because we play back by the front of the net, everything happens in front of us. So we should see that all developing as they come into that area of the ice. So
maybe harder for the forwards then.
And harder is going to be a good work.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, no,
go ahead.
It's a good word
Nice
to
catch.
use for tonight. Is that they need to play harder in front of their goaltender.
Yeah.
They need to be harder on the opposition to not allow them to get into those areas of the ice.
Trying not to get the giggles.
harder
Yep.
enough. Let's
They should
move
try
on.
Marsman.
Shots on goal in the first period were 9-5 in
Is
favor
that
of the
Marsman?
Bruins.
No, what was the first one? It was blue. Remember?
So
Your first read.
I remember.
We go to the second period, and Elias Lindholm had an open one-timer in the right slot that he just missed. He was trying to pick the upper left corner and just missed the post wide. But then, actually a guy who, by the end of the night, had a lot of scoring chances. Number 14, Jamie Benn, ties the game, gets Dallas on the board. He was one of the guys that was more consistent offensively as far as generating looks tonight.
Well, because he was outworking the opponent. And really, that's what
Honest
it comes
effort.
to. And a lot of times, Jamie doesn't get out there and vocally call his guys on. He does it by what he does on the ice. And so what happens here, this is a 50-50 puck battle. I know you can't see Jamie and the other player in here, but Jamie wins the first one here in the corner. So he wins that first puck battle. Then the puck goes up again. Here's another 50-50 battle. He wins this one here. And this is all Jamie, and there's 2.5 of them dark jerseys around him, but he wins another battle to get here. It ends up hitting him in the skate. Jamie gets out to the front. It hits Wyatt in the shoulder. But Jamie doesn't just stand on the back there and watch what happens. He does what he generally does. He gravitates to the front of the net, and then he kicks it up with his foot, and then he ends up, throwing it through the goaltender's legs. But again, that's just all compete. That's all that is from Jamie Benn. And this is what he expects guys to follow, and this is what we're talking about for your rest of the group. And not just, and we're talking offensive things here. You have to work just as hard, if not harder, in front of your own goaltender as these guys do as forwards working in front of their goaltender.
15th goal, 34th point in 53 games this year. For a guy making a very reasonable over 35 cut.
Yeah, and weren't there a lot of people for whether not to be on the team or to be a fourth liner?
Yeah.
And he did start out. And
he was a fourth liner.
Jamie credit
was
because
hurt.
he was a fourth liner.
He had the collapsed lung
and then he
preseason.
climbs up the ladder, and all he does is just works hard.
Lutz,
He's not a
15
40
goals
goal
in
scorer
53
anymore,
games.
but-
That's fine.
Did he ever get 40?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Right?
You think so? I think
once. I think Jamie
Well, he
had
got to
40
84
once.
points, but-
Tyler had it once, and then Robo's had it 3, and Wyatt's had it once since Madonna's 50.
Yeah.
So that makes it 2-1.
2015-16.
Jason Robertson has a breakaway. Korpisalo makes a good save, gets the second effort. You had an interesting thought about, was he trying to go 5-hole on that one instead of his patented go upstairs?
Yeah, and again, I don't. That's a better question for Robo. But from our angle, I thought that's where he was trying to go. And then Sam made the point he may be trying to go over the pad. So We're seeing it from the right-hand side, and it's hard to get again, perspective.
Either way, he didn't hit it.
Yeah, he didn't hit
That's
whatever
the key. That's the key.
Whatever he was doing, he didn't
He wasn't
hit his
going
spot.
for the middle of the right pad.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
All right. That's where we're going to pause for a minute. It's 2-1 Boston. On the other side of the ad break, we'll get to the rest of the goals. Good finish to the second period. And then the third period coming up on the DLS Stars postgame show.
Whether you need snapbacks, truckers, fitteds, beanies, or tees, Brandon Bills has you covered with performance and style. Looking for some great gear to make your brand stand apart from the crowd? Brandon Bills has you covered with the best custom headwear. Start your order, and their dedicated team will help you create the exact custom apparel you need. We have teamed up with Brandon Bills for 3 hats in our DLLS collection. Hang on to this one. The DLLS football script hat, the DLLS flag crest hat, and the DLLS flag slack canvas hat, a.k.a. the white one. Why couldn't they just say that? All 3 of our Brandon Bills DLLS hat collabs are available on the DLLS website. Brandon Bills also has a partnership with 40 colleges as part of their campus collection, including TCU, Texas Tech, and Texas. You can even browse hats by state and rep your home state, whether it's maybe Texas, even Wisconsin. Wisconsin has hats for all you cheeseheads. Head to BrandonBills.com and use code BBDLLS for 15% off your first order.
Let me tell you about Wild Fork Foods. We did a tasting at their Louisville location, and not only did we get some amazing food and meet some great people, but after that, I went inside the shop and got to do a little bit of shopping on my own. And I'll tell you, it's like the Apple Store of meats. You walk around, you pick out every different category, and it just so happened to be Super Bowl Sunday the next day. So I grabbed some chicken wings, which were very good. Then I grabbed some meatballs, Swedish meatballs, which were delicious, and some lava cakes to finish it off. And the best part was the next day when I was hosting a Super Bowl party, all I had to do was throw everything in the air fryer. Super quick, didn't take me any time at all because I can't cook pork. But that made it easy at Wild Forks because you just throw it in the air fryer, cook it all up, and fire it down, and it was all delicious and fresh. So 9 DFW area locations. Frozen is fresher at Wild Fork Foods Meat and Seafood Market. Got to try them out right now, wildforkfoods.com.
All right. We will still get to your super chats, so
Why would
send
I go
those
to
in.
Costco when I can go to Wild Fork?
Why would you?
Burned oils.
Wild Fork Foods Meat and Seafood Market. We've all been there, and it's fun.
Get out of
and
town.
delicious.
Costco has some great free samples, though.
Let's get...
Good pizza, too.
What are you doing?
$1.50
What are
for their
you
hot
doing?
dog. I don't know. What, were we supposed to talk about something?
Luds, can you hit him upside the head?
Nope.
It won't hurt him.
Yes. Well, he's injured enough on his own.
I'm injured just
Touche.
thinking about it.
Okay, so we will get to your super chats. Keep sending those our way. We will also hear from Glenn Gullitson post-game thanks to some audio from Mike Heika he sent our way. But let's get back to what the puck. And Luds, late second period, the Stars are down 2-1. They haven't generated a whole heck of a lot. Couple, like I said, the Robo breakaway. And then, blink your eye, 2-2.
Yeah, and I was so excited to break this one down because what a play by Robo. I mean, what a play.
It looked great, right?
Yeah, and see, this is actually how it started. I was going to point out the 3 Boston players and how Robo beat them to the back of the net and then got the puck and made this unbelievable pass off the net or back out to Duchene. Well, then upon further review, he had nothing to do with it.
Yep.
So this ultimately
carry it.
gets to this puck first, pops it back from Robo. This is where I thought the drop pass happened from Robo. Well, anyways, it bounces off the back of the net. Robo just blows right by it, so he really never even touched the puck. And then it goes past another defenseman, right? That's Zadorov, and then it comes right out to Matt Duchene, but this is where the hands come into play. You just see Matt's stick come in here, as he always does, those quick hands. He just pulls the puck out and then just kind of powers it back through the goaltender here. So good anticipation and instincts from Matt Duchene to understand he's got a little space around him. And sorry, Robo, I was gonna. We were
really excited about
man.
it. Because that's like a
the bad
hockey,
thing about the replay.
That's like a pond hockey type of move where you go behind the net, and
yeah,
off the back of the
and
net.
I actually wanted to show the vision thing and go. He sees where everybody's coming this direction. He picked it up and he sent it back against traffic, and it was such a great high-end play, and none of that.
Matt Duchene gets his 15th goal of the season. It's also his 50th point. Oh, sorry, no, I read that wrong. 50th game, 38th point. Remember, He was injured in the third game of the year, missed a bunch of time, came back, looked lost, didn't really have a home on a line. He had, of course, Sagan was hurt by that point. Marchment had been traded in the offseason. He's looking for things. He has really gotten his feet under him, Sam, in the last couple of months, and that's important with these other injuries.
Dude is cooked right now.
That's right. Ever since Sean, R.I.P. Sean,
Yeah.
did that, Matt Duchene has been a guy. I honestly don't know where the Stars would be right now if it wasn't for the way Duchene's played the last 2 months.
For sure. Think about how this season it kept going that way, where it wasn't just that he was not as good, but he was struggling. He was not handling the puck. He was not creating.
He looked like he didn't feel like he was part of the team.
Yeah, exactly.
In the sense of he's a guy that wants to and needs to
he has to be part of the offense.
Yeah.
And it would be, he's a big story. There's a bunch of good stories for this team who stepped up, and Duchene stepped up in a different way, right? Because he's expected to, but he stepped up because he was coming back from that injury and was at a certain point where a lot of us thought this just might not be his year. I mean, how many times do you see a guy go through a season and you look back and you go, you know what? He had the injury. He just never really got going.
Yeah.
He didn't do that. He handled it. Sean Shapiro told him he was cooked, and from then on, he absolutely went on a roll, and he looks like a different player. And you're right, they need him.
Cooked right
especially not knowing Roope Hintz's status here moving forward. As right now, he's their second line center. He's got to play like it.
I like how you've turned to now saying Sean's full name all the time.
Yes.
As if people don't know who Sean is.
I just got to make sure.
No, I think I get it. I do. I know. All right.
R.I.P.
He's not dead, though.
That's fair.
Early third period, a carryover penalty, Luds. As the Stars went down a man because of a Jamie Benn delay of game puck over the glass at 18-17. There are only 17 seconds of carryover penalty to start the third period, and the Bruins needed 13 of those.
Yeah, well, it beginning of the period, and you're trying to shut somebody down right away. And I know what everybody's thinking here, and I'm with you. I'm trying to find where it hits Esa Lindell's stick. And I looked and looked and looked, and I do not believe it did touch his stick. And, again, I know he's shooting it from 45, 50 feet out. Great shot. This is what he probably sees here, I think. And what I did see here, and again, it's blurry, but I believe the puck went underneath Esa's stick, and it went under the shaft of his stick right here. And so I know. It's no other way to put it. Like,
no,
it's what it's called. It's called the shaft, man.
It's called the undershaft.
Undershaft. It's under his shaft. I mean, it just slid under the shaft. You know what I'm saying, KG?
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't know how else to. I can't paint it any other way. Yeah, I mean, it's just the shaft of his stick. It's the stick shaft.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kevin does not need a microphone.
Show has derailed.
Over there. We're
now
good.
we're off.
Can I ask
KG is a microphone.
Let me ask you one thing, Leds. Is there any chance? I'm not trying to stick up for Otter here on this one because this is a tough one to go in. But is there any chance that because it went under the stick and that he didn't pick it up right away? Like, could he have it could have been by him before he even realized where it was, or is that just a complete whiff?
I think you just said it. It was by him before he saw it.
Yeah.
But it had nothing to do. He was not, I do not believe it. And all the other times I will seriously always try to find where you try to get to that perspective and say,
right,
he can't see this one. He can't see that one. This one, I think he just got beat on it. I think that because you can even see where he thought the puck was going to go. And before he knew it was gone. Sometimes you give, like I say, Give Lindholm credit because it was a great shot. It hit the spot, and Sam's probably laughing about the shaft.
He is. He's giggling about it right now.
I'm laughing about the chat's laughing about the shaft.
47 seconds later, Stars are down a goal, and that's a gut punch. But then Arvidsson gets called for interference, and so Dallas gets a chance to go on the power play. And again, I brought this up. Actually, I don't think I did bring it up in the pregame show, but the Boston penalty kill had given up a power play goal against in 6 straight games, operating during that span at 60%, which is not good. And so here you go, Luds. One of the best power plays in the league. You have Mikko Rantanen back. They're getting back up to speed. They scored in Pittsburgh on Saturday. Desperately would have liked to get one on Sunday against Philly. Maybe they win the game if they do that. Power play here. And he has a look that maybe could have changed a road-weary team's fate for the day. But it hits the post.
That's it.
That was it. But their
hit the post. It didn't hit the bar. Crossbar.
It was the post.
It was the post.
Their entries on the power play looked like they were struggling today.
Well, but again, I say this enough that you have to change it a little bit sometimes, because if you watch how the penalty killers of the opponent are standing up, especially the defenseman. Generally, when you have two guys that are coming through the middle of the ice with speed like that, as defensemen, you don't want to get caught standing up at your own blue line, especially shorthanded. Well, they're standing up because they know it's going to be a pass. It's going to be a tic-tac-toe right there at the line. And we've seen this for a long time now. And my big problem with it is, and you got enough speed and you get the guys on the sides, on the walls, they're standing there waiting for the little pass to the left or to the right, but they're standing still. If they would change it a little bit sometimes where they get a little more speed at the red line and now they're moving and kind of going at the same rate as the two guys that are bringing the puck up, those little pucks, if you want to stand up, they get chipped just behind those defensemen trying to stand up. And they'll just blow by them and they'll ultimately gain possession. Because I don't like it when a power play goes down, where they go down, they get to the line, it turns over, 15 seconds to get back. And then you turn it over again, 15 seconds to get back.
It's a momentum killer.
Dallas only needs 15, 20 seconds to score goals. But, I mean, you're getting right down to the last 30 seconds of a power play, and you're trying to, squeeze it in that time frame.
Okay, so if I said to you before the game today that a Finnish player was going to score a goal, you probably would have thought a Dallas Star, because Henri Jokiharju, the defenseman for the Bruins, hadn't scored a goal all year. Their other Finn is the goalie, Jonas Korpisalo. So we'd have thought, oh, maybe Mikko scores.
We should send those guys a couple Mafia shirts.
We probably should.
Yeah, why not?
Well, maybe Mikko scores. Maybe Miro Heiskanen. Maybe Arttu Huru scores his second NHL goal. Nope. It was Jokiharju, his first goal of the season, Luds.
Yeah.
And there's no way Otter saw this one.
There's nothing you can do on this. This is the kind of luck that maybe they're having right now, because all this is again, here's Jake, and I'm trying to show he sees nothing here. And this puck was just turned over, and it goes from down in front of the net. It bounces out high. Jokiharju is coming in with a little bit of pace, and he just finds a little lane to get it to the net. Jake sees nothing. And it just, again, it's one of those kind of goals that there's not much your goaltender is going to do about this.
So, 4-2. To me, that felt like game over.
Yeah.
Right? The 3-2, you
not
go,
as
okay,
much as 5-2.
Right, well.
What about 6?
Yeah, but
3.
That was 4-2, it felt like with the way the Stars offense, I mean, we know that they have capabilities, and that one, the Jokiharju one, was at 5:51, so there's still more than half of a third period to go. But after that, Dallas had a couple chances, but nothing high danger, right? Nothing really threatening. And then they pulled the goalie. They went for it. They're down 2. And with little over 3.5 to go, what was it, Sam? Almost immediately?
Yeah, it was. I think Jake was
after they
basically
pulled Ottinger
on the bench, and they turned it over immediately. He turned it up and went full Maverick Bork on them.
So Arvidsson scored an unassisted goal at 16:23.
I think it looked like a soccer net to him too.
Probably.
I think all nets for Arvidsson look like a soccer net. I mean, he is a little.
He's a little guy.
He's not a big guy.
Yeah.
He's my height.
Then Wyatt Johnston adds some window dressing. 41st goal of the year, 25th power play goal. He kind of called it. Pregame show.
I think Wyatt's got a PP in him.
Yeah, he had a little PP left. So he again.
That's what happened when I came into the show.
Well, and we pulled up the sharpshooter shirt in the beginning of the show.
We pulled
it up for Wyatt and what did I ask you, Owen? I said, how many games has it been? You said like 3 games.
Yeah, it was the New Jersey game.
So we need to pull up the Wyatt Earp shirt.
I think we get to show that shirt off soon. Didn't we get that shirt?
In the next ad break, which is coming up very shortly.
Yeah. We're going to talk about it in the next ad break.
And then Sam, Viktor Arvidsson pulls a Maverick Bork.
Oh, yeah, I said it 1 too early.
Empty net goal.
Yep, assassin.
And his hat trick to wrap up a 6-3 Bruins
That's the only thing
win.
Maverick Bork did not do. He did not convert the second empty netter into a hat trick.
Well, he had 3 points.
He got the first star. Did Arvidsson get the first star tonight with the hat trick?
That is a great question. He was second star.
So Arvidsson gets a hat trick that
why?
included a real goal.
You know why?
And he gets the second star.
They picked him
it works.
probably as second star before he had the 2 empty netters, right? Because it was in the last 5 minutes. Because Pasta had 3 assists. And they gave David Pastrnak first star, Elias Lindholm third. And
I was giving him crap
Arvidsson.
for being a bad passer at 3 assists.
Sam's going to yawn.
Sorry, it's late. 9:30.
It's not that late.
Bedtime.
And Dallas ends up going 1-2-1 on the road trip. There is your breakdown, your what the puck, and everything that entails. All right, up next.
We're going to talk about the shirt.
Shirts. Luds will do that in a minute. And
How come What the Puck's not sponsored by something?
It should
Why
be.
don't you appeal to the listeners? We got a minute.
Sponsor What
Go
the
ahead.
Puck.
I mean, that
And give us a theme
sponsored
song.
segment or something like that.
We need a theme song for it.
Is there a chef by the name of Puck?
Yes, Wolfgang.
Wolfgang Puck.
Yeah, where's he at?
What the Wolfgang Puck? That would be an
I
interesting
think
sponsorship.
he
Like it.
actually just recently reached out and said he was interested in
should
DLS.
Somebody here should know him.
Up next, Super Chats. Let's hear from Glenn
I
Gully.
bet you KG knows.
Some-
Hit us up
somebody here
right now
should know
on the
him.
DLS Stars postgame show.
If you love the NFL Draft, then this is your edge. The Die Hard NFL Draft Guide is built and based off of thousands of hours of film study, being boots on the ground, Shrine Bowl, Senior Bowl, Combine, talking to scouts, talking to coaches, really getting a feel for where these players are best going to fit and project in the NFL. We're talking hundreds of players in this class.
Cowboy fans, you got to have access to Fran Duffy's Die Hard Draft Guide because he knows exactly what the Cowboys are looking for and has in-depth scouting reports on everybody that can help this team. So help yourself and be informed about the NFL Draft. Make sure you got Fran's Draft Guide.
All right, so what are you going to find in the guide? Well, you're going to find player comps. You're going to find strengths, weaknesses, physical tools, analytics, highlights, analysis from all across the space, everything you need to try and determine who are the best players for your team. You get access to the guide if you're a diehard, and you'll also get access to a couple of individual breakdowns I'm doing specifically for your team. All right, look, if you want surface level breakdowns, you can get them anywhere, but if you want independent thought, if you want thorough breakdowns on all of these prospects, become a diehard, get the guide. Or you can get access to the 2026 guide for just $26. Let's win draft season.
Ryan, you know what shirt we're starting with? We are starting with Jamie Benn, the captain. Oh, yeah. Jamie Benn, there's your captain. Goal.
We showed this one
4
earlier,
shots tonight. Digging around the front of the net. And then, of course, we've got to talk about Wyatt Johnston.
PP.
Okay?
Look at that.
Wyatt Johnston, 41st goal. How many power play goals now? Anybody?
25.
25 power play
Setting
goals.
a franchise record with everyone.
And I do want to pull up Ottinger. Let's pull up Otter's shirt because, again, a lot of traffic in front of Otter. He's looking through a bunch of weeds and sticks and everything else out in front of him. It's tough to swim around in
A lot
his
of
net.
shafts, hard
Yeah,
to see.
because the guys in front of him got to do a little bit better job moving people away so we can see the
very
shot.
true. And it's. I wonder if that dips into other parts of his game sometimes because
Well, I think
there
it's
is a lot
frustrating.
of times where he has to look around.
And the
a
one
lot.
thing you don't want for a goaltender is to be thinking about too many things.
Yeah.
You know? And so if he's got to work hard to look through traffic, and he should, I just wish they would seal out a little bit sooner.
All right. Let's start with Super Chats, and then we'll hear from Glenn Gullitson. And, of course, you can keep hitting us up with Super Chats. So light us up. Ryan, set us up, and let's
Light
get
us
to
up.
it. You put it in the background. That's the best way to read it, too. All right, Chaotic with a Lundqvist and a Johnston. Put Casey in the last 7 games. A message has to be sent because a lot of doubt has been cast on the fan base with Otter and net. Maybe Pete DeBoer was right. 2 things can be true.
There's a lot of that going on in here.
That Jake can be not necessarily playing his best game every night, and Pete DeBoer wasn't exactly right? He was correct.
We also never argued that Pete pulling Jake was the problem. Remember last year we said over and over again it was how he did it and how he reacted afterwards.
Yes.
Not that he pulled Jake in that
Well,
situation.
and look, to be fair, the team in front of Jake in Game 5 against Edmonton had a trash start and gave up a couple breakaways. Yes, you want to save there because it's the playoffs, but again, use your timeout, not communicate to your starting goalie, then angrily wave him off, then trash him in the postgame, then triple down the next day with the end of season media availability. Didn't handle it well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think is there anything there? Like, if Jake gets in his last 2 or 3 games and they're not good outings before the playoffs, and that there's any chance that Casey would start?
What do you think it would take to make the coaching staff in the front office? Because Jim Noel would probably be in the consultation with this. I don't, but do you think, what would it take for Casey to?
I don't think
An
there's
injury?
any chance he starts game 1. I think if Jake struggles and
Are we
they
gonna,
lose game
like
1,
Stuart Skinner?
yeah,
Like
they
game
lose
2?
game 1, maybe game 2. But I truly believe it. I tell you guys, I'm a big Jake Ottinger fan because when he plays well, he's one of the best goalies in the world. But for whatever reason, there's these games where he just has that one lapse. And usually, the good news for the Stars is it's one of the first 2 goals. and then he shuts it down, and they find a way to win because they score 3 or they score 4. Tonight it was a third one, and it was a backbreaker.
Yep.
If he does that in a game 1 and a game 2, and he allows maybe a goal they shouldn't and they lose, I think the leash is shorter than it was to start this season, where everyone said no chance, they're never going to think about it. I think that leash is definitely shorter, and that's just the reality of the situation.
It wouldn't surprise me, like if you got into game 1 and there were 2 quick goals and one of them isn't that good of a goal.
Yep.
That because of the way Casey has played all year long, you could just say you're going in, and you win that hockey game. You might start with Casey.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Sure.
I'm just saying, but
I think it would take an awful lot for them to do that.
Bottom line
that's
is the
both
coaches. That's enough.
That's both because of how Jake has struggled at times, and because of how good Casey's been as well. It's not just that Jake is like, oh, what anybody else put him in there. It's because they have a backup who is legitimately played like a starter.
Yeah,
when he's
and
in there.
you're not there to keep everybody happy when you get into the playoffs for the coach's standpoint.
Oh, no.
You're there.
You're there to win games.
the round, and
Yep.
whatever.
And
that
plenty of
takes.
teams use 2 goalies.
Well, and Jake,
And their franchise
let
goalie
me
gets the
point
bench
out
for.
too that Jake has been historically quite good in the first round. It's
Oh yeah,
the later rounds that there's been
even
some
second
issues,
round.
right?
Yeah, he was incredible against Winnipeg last year. They just
I mean, we
It just
honestly
flipped the
thought,
switch and-
again, not to bring up old wounds, we thought 2 years in a row that Dallas had a major advantage over Stuart Skinner and Edmonton in goal. And then Skinner, who was awful earlier in the playoffs, I mean, he found a way to be impactfully better in that third round 2 years in a row, where other rounds, I mean, he got pulled, he got lifted.
Yep.
Right? If Calvin Pickard didn't get hurt earlier in the playoffs last year, Stuart Skinner's probably not the starter in that series.
And that's what I mean. That's the other thing to remember about playoff series. A lot of times it's not clean at all. You know, you go win a cup and you're like, oh, remember in the first round we were down 2-0 to LA. We used a totally different goalie. That's how the playoffs are.
Well,
sometimes.
if you go back to the bubble playoffs where the Stars went to the Stanley Cup final, right?
Yep.
Yoel Kiviranta hat trick. Otherwise, maybe they lose that Game 7 against Colorado. Joe Pavelski with a late sort of rally goal. Jamie Alexiak scored a goal with no time on the clock.
to win it,
Those things you do.
and they were already using their backup goalie
See
that whole time.
And see, the issue that I have with, again, showing what's happening in front of Jake and how it's a little easier to get to the front of the net than I care for it to be. When you get into playoffs, there's more players that are more intent to get in front of the opposing goaltender. And they will pay the price to get there to score goals in the playoffs. So that's what I'm saying is you can't go through these games and be soft in these games in the regular season and think all of a sudden I'm going to play a lot more. I mean, Ilya Lyubushkin tonight was good in front of the. He had 5 hits tonight. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to be in the lineup. I don't know what they're going to do. But I mean, when you look at playing in front of the net, Lyubushkin at least battles in front of the net to keep people away.
Yeah.
Now that doesn't mean you take Miro Heiskanen out of there. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying you have to be willing to go there and find a way not to let people to get to your goaltender, regardless who the goaltender.
Who else does that well on the Stars?
Well,
You say
on
Miro
the
doesn't
Stars?
great. Harley's not great at it. Who does a good job on the back end? Okay, good answer. Petrovic?
Well,
Yeah, Petro and Bischel did.
Okay.
I think Bischel does when he looks around. Like that one I showed you here, he's done it. I've seen enough times where Bischel will see people coming in from the goal line in the corners, and he'll turn and he'll hold them up. This one here, he just got attracted to the puck, and then little guy sneaks in behind him. You know, so Bischel does it. Petro did it. You're right. And when those guys were a pair, we pointed it out last year. Look at what these guys do.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if we're going to see Petro because we haven't seen him
Long time.
in a long time. So, but who knows?
Which is surprising. We talked about that during the game. Well, maybe we'll talk about it more tomorrow. But it's surprising because we all thought start of the season, he was up here. We're like, all right, good. We're not just waiting for him around to come in the playoffs. He's going to be here all year, and he's going to be a staple in the playoffs.
Bing bong.
And not so much.
do you remember the last time Alexander Petrovic played a hockey game for the Dallas Stars?
It was prior to the break.
Definitely before the break.
Nope.
I can tell
no
you.
way.
I can tell you what game it was though. I don't know what game it was, but I know what he did in it. He turned one over just
yeah.
inside his blue line and didn't get the puck into the red
First
line.
game after the break, February 25th against Seattle.
Was he -1 or
It
-2?
was -1,
Yeah.
and that was the game, buds.
Yep.
There was also a couple minus games.
Why did he play that? Oh, they didn't have
against,
Myers yet,
he
obviously.
was -1 at Columbus in January, and then at St. Louis he had to dash. I think there was an issue there, but the Seattle game was the last straw. He has not played since February 28th, so he's gone a whole month as being a healthy scratch.
How many games has he played since we had him on?
Oh, there you go.
You asked a question that we definitely
It's the
can't
DLS
come
curse.
up with quickly, right? Yeah. Do the Luds. Ask me the question that there's no chance we prepared
And then
ahead.
get mad about it.
And then get mad.
Oh, well,
that
come
we
on.
Can't spend 5
I
minutes.
thought
to
you guys
figure it
had
out.
all this.
Shouldn't you have asked yourself that question, Sam? All right.
Hey, Bobby.
Let's go to Marshall's second.
I'll be running.
Another
home.
bing bong
Yeah.
with a DeSmith and a 99
Said he
cup
ate
beer.
too much candy. He needs to get a workout.
Do y'all ever feel like therapists after losses? Yeah, sometimes. To the fans, right? To talk people off ledges.
Yeah.
I think today we don't. I think we're all a little fed up with it.
Yeah, I could use one right now.
Yeah. Well, that's
Ryan, let's talk after this. I need you to tell me to look at the bright side. No, I didn't see your text. I blocked you a long time ago.
all right. Ryan, I think we should hear from Gully. Thanks to Mike Heika for sending us the audio. Here is Glenn Gullitson's post game after tonight's loss to the Boston Bruins.
How did you see tonight's game?
You know what? It wasn't one of our better games. Certainly there are losses, and then there are losses where you get outplayed. I thought in the first, they didn't come out and overwhelm us, but they're up 2-0. But we just didn't do some things. We self-inflicted some wounds. We lost some battles at key times, and we got ourselves down 2-0. We had a better second. It came out and. We started to even the battlefield as far as the hand-to-hand combat stuff and the little battles around the net, and then we got it 2-2, and then specialty teams came to play too. We needed to get that killed. 17 seconds into the start of a period, you need to get that done, and we had a chance on the power play. We had some looks, a bar, but it never went in, and then you're vulnerable to the. Once you're down in the third, you're vulnerable to, pressing a little bit. And I thought that once it was 4-2, it was, that it was tough. They played a good defensive game.
Talking about pressing, you guys have given up the first goal, I think, 8 straight games. How does that affect your play?
Yeah, it affects your play because, right away you're playing almost a little bit off your back foot. And we've been able to come back a lot this year, with that. But we weren't ready as we needed to be to play this first period against these hungry teams, and that's going to be the story moving forward. I mean, whether it's Winnipeg next or was Philly the last game and Boston tonight, they're all battling, and we need to raise our level.
What did you see from the whole road trip? I know there were some ups and downs, but did you learn anything about your team?
Yeah, we haven't matched right now. We haven't matched the work ethic of the teams that are trying to get in, and they're up a half a degree and we're down a half a degree, and that's a degree of separation that causes losses, and that's the story. And so at some point we got to dig in here and go, can we win when we need to win and when we want to win and prepare to win? And if we're not going to up at that half degree, it's going to be tough.
Have you talked to them at all about what happened last year? Because they lost 7 straight. Same thing. They were in a situation where they couldn't really change their playoff positioning.
No, I haven't talked to them anything about last year. So, no, our positioning can change.
Yeah.
So, Minnesota's got a game in hand on us. So, I mean, this can all change around, and so we got to find our own game. Our own motivation and not look at the standings to get it. I mean, it should come from internal drive, and if you got to light your fire by an external source, it only will burn briefly. So, we got to find it within ourselves to get it going.
I thought the most telling thing he said was,
Oh yeah, there it is.
we have not matched the work ethic of some of these desperate teams.
I'm
that
always
one
wondering,
degree.
I'm always wondering what he's looking at in that shot that we get all the time.
Jumbotron.
This is during the game and the same thing. This was on that Otters goal that we talked about. Yeah, I mean, it was a good question from Mike. Did you talk about last year? I mean, that's a good.
Not that you'll tell Mike this.
No, but
no.
I'm just I'm going to tell him it's a good question.
You should.
Yeah, he listens to us now. He dialed.
Mike,
in
that
all
was
the
a
time.
great question.
But I think you have to talk to him about. I think you have to talk about all this kind of stuff. So I don't think Gully's going to always tell us everything, anyways. And so I mean, it's part of what you're supposed to do. But again, my point, not all that, also is that there's enough veteran guys in there. You know, I mean, Rantanen. I didn't even mention Rantanen before. I mean, Rantanen's been there. He's gone to he's got the, he's been to the end of the rainbow.
Yep.
And so, so I expect his voice, and to carry in there. But the players have to talk about it. So, and I think that Gully leans on his captain and those kind of guys anyways.
And I think I have to go back and confirm this. I think Tyler Sagan's on this trip too. So
yeah,
they've got more because he told me he
Boston?
wasn't going on that quick trip they had, the 2-game one, but he said he was going on the next one. So,
okay.
I mean,
all right.
They have the leaders. You're right.
All right, let's do it. We got another super chat. So before we sign off here, let's go to Hikin with a Ben and a Rantanen. Please be honest, Luds. How does Coach Luds respond post-game? Is this a throwing sticks, trash cans, or a, quote, I realize you're tired, now get your ass on the plane, you sorry pucks?
No, the plane, no, for me, like
Coach
now,
Luds, yep.
You walk into the room, tell everybody to stop what they're doing, and you sit down and you have a conversation. And you can only do that one time, though. You can't make a routine of that kind of stuff. And maybe they've done it. I don't know. But it's, guys, we have 7 games left. We cannot go into the playoffs like this. We know what can happen. And so we have to take the next 21 periods, or 7 games left?
7 games left.
7.
Okay, so we take the next 21 periods and we play them one at a time. And here's what we're trying to accomplish in each period. Here's who we're going to play against in the first round. We know this. We know where we're going to be. We know we're starting at home. I mean,
we think,
it should be. If the bottom doesn't fall out, but we, the worst case scenarios, we're starting at home, and so here's who we're playing, and this is what we're going to have to do against these teams, and we're going to use the next 7 game to put out the game that we're going to play in game 1 of the playoffs. We are going to play that from now until the end. And if we don't win the games, we don't win the games. But let's take those building blocks, and we're going to get better and better each game until our last 2 or 3 games we're like, this is exactly how we're going to play.
Feel good.
I mean, and I think you just have and again, it's a 5-minute little talk with your team. And yes, you can do that on the ice in practices, but they expect coaches to come in after games like this. But maybe it's a change just to come in and have a little heart-to-heart.
Is it beneficial to do it right after a game, or would it be better to do it tomorrow or when they're off?
No,
tomorrow,
that's the point. No, you do it after the game because everything's fresh.
Yeah,
everything's fresh in your mind. And I'm not here to yell and you guys are men. You've been doing this. We've had
you're not kicking the
really
Gatorade
good season. Look at where we are, points wise and stuff like that. But all that stuff in the past doesn't really matter at this moment right now because we got to get our house a house back in order.
Sam, any final thoughts?
No.
Good.
All right. Well, we didn't get that. That was money well spent, Sam. Well done. We are here tomorrow, 2:00 Central Time. We have a full show. We will give you what we got, which is a lot, including I'm going to play one of the funnier clips that we've done recently during a show. We'll get to that tomorrow and talk about back-to-back goalies. Oh, yeah. Just you wait to what we did. And it's mostly us being idiots this time.
Oh, good.
Not just Luds. No. We'll have some fun tomorrow with
it's always me, though.
a different producer. Don't worry. Ryan's coming back. Ryan Tanner owes him a day. So we've got Tanner from
R.I.P. Ryan. We kept you along for a while.
Yeah, it was a good run,
it was
Ryan.
A good ride.
Appreciate it. So for Ryan Vaughters, who will be back with us for our Thursday Stars game against the Winnipeg Jets. And of course, for Craig Ludwig and Sam Nessler, I'm Owen Newkirk. We will see you tomorrow, 2:00 live.
See ya.
Until then, good night. 3, 2, fuck you.
We all silly like the mayor.